over here. I'm actually going to write the script as we go. We're making a video not only for the Kickstarter campaign, but really just to get a chance for you guys to get to know me, get to know what my goals are with the website and all that fun jazz. We're going to keep this as real as possible. Nothing staged or anything, except I have lights and stuff here, which you can kind of see. But I want to get a feel. I want you guys to get a feel for what it is that I want to accomplish and what I'm interested in hearing from you guys and all that jazz, and why we're asking for fundraising, albeit whether we do it through PayPal or do it through like a Kickstarter project. However we do it. Excuse the mess, of course. I have several computers set up. This guy right here, which, yes, you can see. We're going to set up to write the script. We're going to utilize Google Docs. This little netbook situation here is actually a tablet. I'd pull it out from its dock, but I don't feel like dealing with the time it takes to get it all situated again. So we're just going to create a Google Doc. I'm going to start writing a script, a loose script here. So what do we want to talk about? Some of the key things I want to talk about is my ability, or the lack of ability right now, to address some of the comments and questions and code assistance that I've been sent. A lot of that has to do with, actually most of that has to do with the combination of my professional and personal life. Being a freelance developer, designer, video guy, whatever you want to call me, doesn't leave much time for family, and it definitely doesn't leave much time for getting back with people, especially when that isn't putting food on the table. Me personally, I would love to do it all the time, but wife and kids may say it differently. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to come up with a couple points here. And basically what I've written down is the items that we're going to come up with or work on over the next 6 months. I'm going to move this keyboard. This is for the recording unit, or for the audio. And we're going to make some, we'll say, bullet points here, just to talk about maybe one where my stylus went. Let's keep using my finger here. Topics I want to dive into, and or not necessarily dive into, but talk about even more and get more in depth into, and then some topics that we haven't even really gotten into that I'd like to discuss. And I've talked to a couple buddies of mine, which if you read my recent Facebook post, we talked about getting together and working together on this Kickstarter project, which would end up being at this point probably a 6-month campaign. The fundraising itself, let me reiterate, we're gonna set a deadline of something a little more reasonable, like 30 days to 40 days, something like that, maybe less. But the work we're going to produce will go over a 6-month span. And I'm going to use my other camera here to kind of show you that we've used my favorite marker board to kind of talk about some of the numbers and figures and expenses involved, things like that. So we're trying to come up with a real number, a number that isn't scary to you guys. I'm not expecting at all, not at all, for my viewers to be able to come up with the dollar figure that we're looking for. If my viewers can contribute $5, $10, things like that, just even a fraction of you guys, that would mean the world to us, and that would be great. We also need these. We need some big fish donors, and we need to impress them and show them why this project is worth putting money into. So again, without getting sidetracked, I'm going to put down a couple of bullet points here, which I know you can't currently see, and maybe by the time I put this video together you will be seeing them. As I type these out, we'll display them on the screen with some fancy editing. But first and foremost, we want to talk about web development and design. In a much further depth. We're going to take, as people have noticed, we're going to create a website from start to finish. We're going to call that done for now. We might do another one with more current technology here soon. There were some really good points made, and some of the comments about better ways of doing things in certain situations. And not necessarily, some of them not even better, just different ways of doing things. But overall, we need to reboot this series and focus on dynamic development so that we can all learn how to make these websites do things interactive, allow our users to put input in, things like that. One of the main things that people are looking for are how to build a CMS, and we're going to talk about that. So again, back to the list: web design development, more graphic design, and photo manipulation, which is something that I love doing, and one of our other potentially new contributors is very good at. He's very good at not only doing the design or the digital end of it, but he builds special effects, physical special effects using plastics and things like that. Terms elude me. Basically, Hollywood quality effects. As far as, you know, zombie skin, things like that, stuff like that. But what he'll do is he'll take rough versions of that, take photos, and then build something using Photoshop that's an amazing piece of art, using the combination of those two, which is something that he would like to come in and start teaching. So that's something we'd like to talk about. At the very least, we'll just get into some more photo manipulation and graphic design in general, some of those topics. Video editing and effects. Pretty much what we're doing right now. I am by no means a video guy. I wouldn't say I'm not a video guy, but I did not get a degree in video. I've picked up tidbits of knowledge from my college roommate, who is a pretty successful man in the film industry. We'll leave him nameless for the moment. But I listened to him talk, and I asked for his advice all the time. I've also met a lot of lighting specialists along the way, and audio technicians. So, not to mention my own musical past and recording past. All self-taught, of course, so, you know, it is what it is. But we'll talk about certain things like that, lighting placement, things like that. For instance, right now we have a light. I have a light right here attached to my my boom mic, which is giving me a little bit of front light, and then we have a light over here with an umbrella giving us a little light. And then we have the natural lighting around the room. Things like that. Things like me doing a really quick face scrub to get any sweat and, I don't want to call it grease, but really is grease, off my face. Forehead, you can still see a little bit here, which I actually used. Sad to admit it, but I used a foundation here to try and cover up a little bit of my black eye. Sorry, black eye. Dark circles under my eyes, which tend to sometimes give people the wrong impression of me. It really is just that I work late hours and I don't get a whole lot of sleep, which is pretty evident usually in my voice, which at the moment maybe you realize that's just kind of how I talk. But anyways, those are things we'd like to discuss. Not to mention, we have a buddy of mine has now a 3D printer and 3D scanner, and if you don't know what that is, go ahead and look that up. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time diving into what that is, but let's just say basically, if we wanted to, he could scan in a replica of, or he could scan in this paperclip here, and with his 3D scanner, and it would put a model on his screen of it in a 3D editing program, and then his 3D printer will actually go through and manufacture, if that's the right term anyway, it'll build a replica of this paperclip with plastics. So we would love to get into stuff like that. We also have, most recently, there's a lot of not rage, but interest revolving around these Arduino boards, and I recently picked up one of their kits. So we'll be looking at that and seeing how I can take the combination of my friends who do the video effects, who's also a hardware guy, and my guy who does the 3D printing, who is a hardware guy. He's a mechanics guy. He actually built the 3D printer himself, not from scratch, from a kit, but he did build it instead of having it assembled himself. So we're gonna take our combined knowledge, or their combined hardware knowledge, and my software knowledge, along with maybe some other people, and kind of become a maker group here in Northeast Indiana. That's another term that maybe you know or not, and it's becoming pretty popular. I think it's been around for a long time. Kind of reminds me of back in the day, actually before my time, of like the homebrew club where Steve Wozniak was messing with what would become the Apple computer. We now have the ability to take these circuits and knowledge of programming to build things. People are building things like helicopter drones that fly, and satellites that will actually go into space, things like that. So that's exciting. We want to talk about that. So that's another bullet point. And we'll just call that hardware and software for the moment. I think my description kind of covered what we were talking about. So that's as far as the content that we're looking to provide, and provide on a more consistent basis. I mean, obviously, you guys have seen that I've provided a lot of content, and usually what it takes for me to provide this content is time. It's sadly, when you guys see 13 new videos pop up and you see me answering all your questions, that means that there's a brief moment where I'm not doing any freelance work, which means there's no money on the table, and that kind of sucks. At the same time, it's awesome because I get to interact with you guys and make more videos, which, again, I can't reiterate enough. That is what I prefer to be doing right now. So with that said, what I'd like to move on to also is not only do we want to get into getting more consistent content and better response times for everybody as far as comments and working with code, I want to offer more, if not better, services for free hosting for people who are doing our tutorials. Right now, I just checked, we had 38 people using our service, which I think would be a lot more, but right now I believe I only have 40 slots available, and that's more just to conserve my resources. I could open up more slots. I'm trying to get a little more donations in so that I can continue to pay for that hosting. What some people may not realize is that I still get a bill for that. I don't house it here at my home. I want it to be more reliable than that. I don't have a, and static IP and all that, and amazing server here at home. So I want to make sure that everybody can, do these projects and know that they're going to be there, that the servers aren't going to be down, things like that, and have some more consistency. So I'd like to continue to pay that bill without it eating into my own personal income too much. Anyway, the real big part of the funding that we need is we want to work on the website. And a lot of that falls on me, and what that's going to require me to do is take off anywhere from 4 to 6 months from freelance work, and I'm going to put all that time into the website development itself. We would like to turn the website into a kind of not only the same, keep all the same features we have, basically a portal for all of the videos that we have, and some of our affiliates. Keep the blog and have more updated blog entries, as well as more people, some of my friends and colleagues, putting blog entries in there. But we want to create a live classroom interface that would be used for free Q&A sessions for you guys, the viewers. And just free sessions in general, some live sessions where I might do a course or two on certain topics. But then ultimately the goal is to, while we maintain all these free services, I'd like to go back to my roots and what the digital craft really was for. Back when I had an office for one of my companies I owned. The original goal of the digital craft was to create an environment where I can have homeschool students come in and learn technology-based skills, because in the homeschool community we really rely on the parents, and not necessarily the parents of the individual students, but the parents of all the students who have some of these or these capabilities that the other parents do. There's a lot of parents sending their students to, a parent down the street who's better at math skills and things like that. I know at least in Northeast Indiana, there's a really big void for technology-based knowledge, and we want to try and fill that void with the least amount of overhead as possible. If we can, granted, building a website is not a cheap venture. Especially if you're asking one to put aside his normal job and all of his personal income to do so. But at the end of the day, that's all it is. We don't need a physical building. We don't need to pay rent. We don't need to pay electricity and all these bills. We just need to have this website up and running and start creating courses and try and get this ball rolling. I'm very much in awe of what the Khan Academy has done. And if you don't know much about the Khan Academy, I would definitely look into that and what he has done. His first name's eluding me, but he basically did something similar to what I've been doing, and that is making a bunch of math-related tutorials. And all of a sudden, now they're using some of his teaching methods and these video tutorials in schools. And that is a main focus. I want to allow students, or children, the younger students, to be able to learn things the way they should, learn the real world examples of things, get good knowledge, not knowledge from, no offense, but from teachers who may not even be a web design teacher. They may just be good at computers and picked up a web design book, because that's what a lot of the public and private school students schools are doing with their instructors. I'd also like to offer continuing ed classes for adults, young adults who would like to just learn new skills. No certifications, no degrees, things like that. I'm very anti. I'm not necessarily anti-college. College is good for different reasons, but I think you can learn a lot with these hands-on tutorials and experiences. Not everybody can learn from my method and my teaching style, and that's great, and that's why we have this vast amount of people out there doing video tutorials. But I have had a good response for my method of kind of leaving nobody behind. I teach with I teach knowing that some of these people that are listening to my videos know almost as much as I do, if not more, and they're just looking for a couple tidbits of knowledge to kind of further them along. But I also know and teach for the people that have zero knowledge or very little knowledge, and allow my tutorials to go in a direction where they can learn, that's why I call them from start to finish. They can learn the very, very basics. I don't just assume you know how to make a graphic and it just appears on the screen. I teach you how to make that graphic. So with that said, main point of that spiel there was that I want to take time off and focus on making this website more current, as far as the way it looks anyways, which is second to everything else. But I want to start building this live environment for classrooms, as well as a community. I'd like you guys to be able to help each other out a little more. I see it happening within the comment threads on some of the videos, and that's great. I'd love for you guys to have a kind of place to talk these things out and help each other out when I'm not available. The key to remember is that from everything we're asking for and we're looking for as far as donations, is that everything we're doing now and then some will always continue to be free. The only things that we are looking to do that will start costing money would be the actual courses, the continuing ed, the homeschool things, and we're not out to price gouge. We're out to make a living doing what we love to do, and that is teaching. I know I get way more I am way more excited to see what a student can do with the knowledge I gave them than a website that I finish and launch, and how it looks and works. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's exciting too, but I get a thrill out of it. I love it, and that's why I've been doing it for free and allow these videos to be free. Not to mention, that's how I learned. Back in the DOS days and everything, I learned from either buying books that were way out of date from the Goodwill for dirt cheap, or with what little internet we had. What was it? I think I started on AOL 2 or 2.5, and we had a little bit of access to some text tutorials. I'd still be downloading a video tutorial at this point if I tried to do it that way back then. But anyway, the purpose of this video was to bore you a little bit, because that's what I do. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. But get to know me a little bit better, put a face behind the videos and the whole project. I'm not a big fan putting my face on things and all that. So don't expect a a lot of me doing these kind of videos. I want to go back to making videos where I'm hidden behind the screen itself. But with that said, please, if anybody can, start using the donate button on the website. Donate whatever you can, $1, $5, $10, $1,000. I'm not going to complain about that. Only what you can, though. I don't want people wasting money. Not wasting, but spending money they don't have. But once this Kickstarter project starts up, if people are able to donate, please start using that. I might even remove the donate button from our website for a while, because if we can get this this Kickstart project funded, I'm overly excited about what we're going to pull off, and so are the other guys that I have included in this. And not to mention the time it's going to allow me to spend with my family and things like that, because I'll be able to get back into, I'll be able to make my main focus working on this website and the tutorials without the constant need to manage my clients and stay on top of my business world and all that stuff. So again, thanks. I'm going to try and record the second and third videos for the building a dynamic website from start to finish, and we're going to start including some actual code in those, so it's not just PowerPoint slides, which, you know, that to you guys that might be awesome, but to me it gets boring. I hate looking at PowerPoint slides. Not only that, but I hate making them too. But anyway, thanks again. Thanks for bearing with me if you watch this whole video. I look forward to seeing if we can get this project off the ground. So I'll leave you with that. If you can donate off the website, and then once this Kickstarter project starts, which should start sometime this week or next, please, if you have the means, or if you know people that have the means and you believe in what we're doing, and can see from what I've done in my free time over the last year or so, and that you trust that we will actually take this very seriously, please try to get, help us out and get as much donation as we can, and I guarantee you that the result is going to be awesome. So thank you. I'll see you in the next video. And we just want to remind you that donating is easy. You just open your favorite browser, go to the URL bar, type in thedigitalcraft.com, and on the home page we've placed donate buttons kind of sporadically all over the place there, and you should be able to see a donate button up in the top right sidebar throughout the rest of the site. Just click on any one of those buttons and it goes to a PayPal page, and either create a PayPal account, or if you already have a PayPal account, you can type in the amount of money you'd like to donate. You don't actually have to have a PayPal account. This will take debit or credit as well, which is pretty cool. That's it. Thanks a lot, guys.